Hello there, listeners. Welcome to the Bullpen Podcast. Now, before we get started, I'd just like to quickly talk about Buzzsprout. So, over the years, myself and Jamie have worked incredibly hard and refined the Bullpen Podcast into the stylish cultural phenomenon that it is today. But none of this would have been possible without Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout as a platform allows us to upload our finished work and host it on major services such as Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes and more. Simply put, without Buzzsprout, we would not have reached as many ears as we have. Once you sign up to Buzzsprout, you immediately get access to several hours worth of upload allowance a month, as well as an easy to navigate website and analytical data of every aspect of your podcast and all its listeners. If you sign up using our link in the podcast description, you'll find information on how to sign up and grab a $25 Amazon voucher courtesy of Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout is hands down the easiest way to get your podcast off the ground. Join over 100,000 podcasters getting their voices heard and sign up using our link today.
Do you just press stop to stop? Or is that a silly question? Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome to the Bullpen,
Hello, baseball fans.
a podcast about baseball hosted by three. I want to say geniuses, actually.
Oh, it's a very bold statement.
I want to say that we've gone beyond fine minds and we've escalated to genius level.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No.
No. Okay.
The thought was there.
Yeah, the thought was there.
We are still Mansfield's premier baseball.
Yeah, we are. We've sort of said that, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we've kind of convinced ourselves.
That's the label we've put on ourselves.
I think we're scared off the competition now.
There wasn't any competition or anything. We are our own competition.
Yes.
Special episode tonight. We've got a little special guest, haven't we?
have.
Yes.
Should we pull back the curtain and introduce him?
Yes.
So
Pull back
we
the
are
curtain.
speaking to Dave Evans, the current manager of the Essex Archers.
Yes.
Hello, Dave.
Good evening, Dave.
Good evening, all. How are you?
All right, man. How are you?
Very well.
Yeah, very good, thanks. Friday night at last. Not long till baseball starts again.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, it depends what team you support, really. It's how excited you are with...
Yeah.
So thanks for giving us your time for this interview. I guess we'll start out by asking, how did you get into baseball?
Well, thinking about it all this week, I think it was back on a family holiday in '99, all those years ago now. And went on a holiday over to California and ended up going to go and see the Anaheim Angels at the time.
Okay.
Signed to the Big A. And they were playing the Red Sox. Obviously, the Angels at the time were an even smaller team.
All right.
I wasn't expecting anything. And we actually beat the Red Sox 9-1 that day. Troy Glaus hit a home run. Chuck Finley started pitching. And, the careers that those guys had by the end of it.
Oh, nice.
So I sort of got into baseball that way and loved it. A week later, went to see San Diego play. And it was the ceremony for Tony Gwynn, actually, on his 3,000th hit.
Oh, brilliant.
So, so trying to, at the time, understand what that actually meant. As a 14, 15-year-old, you do the research, you speak to people in the hotels and stuff like that, and the locals around, and it turns out to be quite a big deal. So, and ever since, really, I've sort of come home from there, watch on Channel 5 in the middle of the night when you can't sleep and stuff like that. And a lot more accessible these days now as well, which is good to see now with the internet generation gone a lot further forward since those days even.
Yeah, it's made it easier for sort of like UK fans to, first of all, sort of watch games and see results and stuff, and just like research teams as well, I guess.
No, that's it. So, I sort of always kept an eye on it on Google and stuff like that. Never really watched it outside of Channel 5. And it got to about 5 years ago or so. I was sitting at home. I'd given up football. I sort of fell out of love with football.
Okay.
And I said to the missus, I need to do something. I need to compete. I need to have some fun. And I thought, you know what? I actually like baseball. Play a baseball game on the PlayStation all the time.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? Let's give it a go. I must be brilliant. I'm great on the PS4. So
You must be good.
I thought I'd go and give it a go. So I Googled closest team to me, and that was it. And that was a team called Brentwood Stags at the time. I played for a couple of years back.
Okay.
And joined up there, and so that's the story really. Been playing ever since.
So you went in as a player then, or did you sort of go in as a manager, or was it sort of in a progression from then?
No, definitely went in as a player. Complete rookie, really. I played cricket as a youngster, so I had some transferable skills, I suppose. Although there's a lot of similarities, but a lot of things very different as well. And so sort of getting coached there as well. So I played there for 2 years. I moved house, so it wasn't easy to get to training. So I moved further over and found Essex Archers. Had a couple of friends who'd moved there as well.
Okay.
So I thought, we'll go and give it a go. So it's my second year now with the Archers. So I played one season. Manager decides he wants to step down, sort of tells me that I'm going to be put forward and that I need to be thinking about doing it. So
that's
why
awesome.
not? In for a penny, in for a pound. Guarantee my spot in number 4. So
That's it.
no one could push me out of that. So
Awesome.
Fantastic.
We actually, you tweeted out a picture of your sort of form this season. Played 8 wins, like ridiculous. How's that been so far?
Funny enough, it's been great with that. To be honest with you, it's wins breeds the confidence, and but with that now we've got a team and a squad who are a lot closer now, and that camaraderie sort of coming through, sort of pushing on from last year, where we got to the playoffs last year,
awesome.
And lost in the first round to a very good Guildford Millers team, actually. Big shout out to those guys over there. Great setup. And they got to the finals, and unfortunately they lost in the finals. But so we was all a little bit down from there. We had quite a lot of player turnover as well. A few players left after that. So we've got 5 or so rookies have come in this year, and we've been really lucky with all of them. They've all been brilliant since they've come. We've cracked on with some training. They're getting the basics done, and everyone's sort of enjoying it. And at the level we're playing at, we don't pretend that we're playing at a massively high level. We're in single A, which is the bottom tier really, but it's where the rookies play, and it's where all the fun is had. Before you get too serious, going upwards.
Yeah, I suppose it is all about the fun, isn't it? Sort of bottom line. But I mean, sort of
start somewhere.
I mean, if your form continues this season and you find yourself sort of there or thereabouts, then obviously you've got to take it a bit seriously.
I think it's going to maybe switch for us very soon as the realisation of maybe another playoff run could be ours, and it'll get more serious. But taking nothing for granted, anyone in this league can beat anyone on their day, and we've just got to keep turning up and doing what we're doing, which is keep the error count down. Keep the error count down, you've got a chance. If you don't, you let things go through your legs.
Yeah, definitely.
You bump your couches, it doesn't matter who you're playing, you're not going to win. So that's been our best improvement from last season to this year. So
awesome.
Great.
Hope it continues as well.
Yeah, definitely. Hi Dave, my name's Tom.
Hi Tom.
Hi. Just a quick question. How do players actually go about joining a baseball team in the UK? Is it difficult, or is it quite easy to get into?
No, it's so easy. There are so many actually clubs out there. It's actually quite amazing. So Essex Archers and our affiliate team, the Essex Arrows, who play in the National Baseball League, which is our top tier within the British Baseball Federation.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah, so we've got NBL, AAA, AA and Single A in the British Baseball Federation. Then you've got British Baseball League, you've got the South West Baseball League, you've got a Scottish League as well now. There's leagues everywhere, so just Google search baseball club near, stick your postcode in, and I'm pretty certain you're going to find a baseball club.
Yeah, we've actually seen a few around, well, not around our area, but the Nottingham area.
Yeah.
And with you going to say that, it is quite more popular than what we think.
Yeah, that's taken us by surprise.
It has, yeah. It's not baseball's not the sort of sport you expect to find in the UK, obviously. But with you saying that, it does seem like there's quite a lot of teams out there, but just not enough exposure, so to speak.
No, and that's exactly it. So we've started an open Facebook group, which is a British Baseball Scorecard. So lots of us are posting their baseball results from the weekend, pictures, sometimes videos and stuff like that. So check that one out as well. Whilst some other websites have been sorting out some sort of technical issues with getting results up and things like that and league standings. But it's also interesting because then you really do get to understand how many teams are out there as well. So it's really easy. I mean, I think every single club will take on a player regardless of standard, and it's all about taking part, training and getting involved in games. And a lot of clubs have more than one level as well, so a lot of single A's or double A's, nationals. So there is something out there for everyone to get to, and especially kids' age groups as well. A lot of clubs have got youth setups now, some fantastic setups going across the country.
Jesus,
so,
brilliant!
There's really something for everyone.
Brilliant. What would you say the best thing about being part of a team is? Part of a baseball team in the UK. What do you think the best part of being a team is?
I mean, you know what? It's getting together on a Sunday, hopefully on a nice Sunday. Sometimes a little bit miserable, but we are getting at the end of the day, aren't we? I feel sorry for the guys in Scotland.
Can you imagine?
Sorry, I've got family in Scotland. I know what it's like. I'm not just mugging them off.
Poor guys.
So, yeah, but it's getting that camaraderie and then just having fun with friends by the end of it. Really, at the end of the day, having a couple of drinks afterwards. But for me, it's really therapeutic being out in the diamond. You work hard all week, or some people work during the week.
Yeah.
And whether you go through a slump, but you have that big hit again, or have a nice solid contact, or you make your play and you hear the crack of the mitt at first base and you get the ball out.
Yeah.
Oh, it's lovely. I mean, I'm catching, so I get to have sometimes the best crouching seat in the house when I get to watch the players go down. And it's great. And for me personally, it's like we've got a new rookie who's played at third base. To see him pick up a grounder, whether it takes a bad hop or not into him, but he's put himself in the right position, and then he zings that ball across the diamond to first base. That's what makes it worthwhile by the end of the day.
Definitely,
we're achieving something now, and everyone's improving. And you only improve your game time, don't you? So
exactly.
I think it's just being with the guys and girls in there. All age groups playing under one team. It's great.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Hi, it's Jamie here.
Hey, Jamie.
All right. Do you have any kind of really long road trips? And does that kind of, if you do, does that kind of help build that bond with the other players?
We're not. It's not too bad. So where we are in Wolverhampton, our furthest trip we've got to do is Brighton. So that's on a Sunday morning getting to Brighton. Hour and 15 minutes isn't too bad. Yeah. It's just coming home from Brighton, then over the glorious M25 and Tartan.
What more do you want?
Yeah. Oh, it's a lovely sight. But doing that on a Sunday sometimes at 3 or 4 o'clock, or the shopping centre kicking out close by, and then it becomes quite a grim journey. But we've done it once already. We've only got to go there. It's a great ground and a great set of people to play with. But
it's getting there.
That journey home can be a bit of a killer.
Yeah.
That one, but it's okay. But you get there. The game start at 12. We'll normally meet at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
At the ground, wherever it goes. You've got a little bit of time to talk about the journey down. I mean, you're spending time. You're going into the routine of some training and getting your reps in and getting ready for the game. Really. So I mean, obviously our closed Facebook group sort of goes off all week.
Yeah.
Really.
I guess the journey back on the M25 is even better if you win.
It can make it a little bit easier.
So when it gets to the playoffs, then does that sort of open up to all the teams in that sort of bracket, and then you find yourself with sort of longer away days, or how do you sort of change your mindset for that?
Yeah. So I mean, for last year, I think I'm not fully sure how it's going to work for this year still, but I mean, for last year we got a draw and it was our top 6. It was one table and everyone played each other once out of 14 teams, I think it was. I think we came 5th in that one, so we played the team who was second. I think we played Guildford away. So we'd already made that journey once. So again, it was just over the M25, but a lot of it's around the M25 really, if anything. So it's not too drastic. There's a sort of a central division which goes a little bit further up towards Cambridge and a little bit further north. So it's all regionalised until you get to the finals, which are normally held over at Farnham Park, which is the baseball and softball sort of complex really for the country. Really, it's a great setup over there.
Oh, awesome!
That's where we all really want to get to. That's where we want to play.
That's the promised land.
Yeah, I mean, I was fortunate enough to play there once for Brentwood a few years ago because one of the teams sort of based themselves out of there for that season. But it was unhappy memories. We got absolutely spanked in the I think we actually managed to score 1 run in 2 games, so that doesn't have good memories.
No.
Put that one right.
So how great will it be to have the MLB in your backyard next year?
Can't wait. absolutely can't wait. I'm a West Ham fan as well, so having it at the London Stadium is almost perfect.
Oh wow!
Right on your doorstep.
I can't wait. I mean, look how it's gone for the NFL coming over here. You know, they did it once, and then they come back, and it just got bigger and bigger over here, hasn't it? So,
Yeah.
you know, I hope that's what will happen for baseball as well. Then the hope that Mike Trout and Cole will come over as well, maybe.
That's what we alluded to.
Yeah,
in the
we spoke
previous-
about sort of
previous
like
podcast.
the
We alluded
NFL
to
coming
that.
over was like a sort of, well, not work in progress,
Got
but
the ball
a gamble,
rolling.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Like no one knew if that would work, and it has worked. And I think from the MLB coming over, the reception to that has been massive as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think with it being 2 days, potentially it's going to sell out. I hope it does sell out.
I really think it will. I mean, you've had to start registering for tickets and all sorts, haven't you? And I don't know what the price point's going to be, but I hope, and I do hope they keep it, reasonable so it can cater for everybody, because I know it's a not once in a lifetime thing, but not everyone gets a chance to go to America and see a game and stuff like that, do they? So if they want to make it, be able to reach out to everybody, we need to keep it competitive and keep low prices, really.
Yeah.
The younger generation, because it's a great game to watch. I love it. I mean, I love going to watch cricket every now and then with 50 over, but something about baseball it's just it's great to watch. And
Yeah.
I can't wait for it to come over, and I will be trying to go to both stadiums.
Yeah, I think
Definitely.
we're all planning to go. I think
we are.
my only fear is I think we do live in a world where they'll see it as it's going to sell out, so we can kind of charge whatever we want, and it's people will sort of pay that. I think that's the only danger that we've got, really.
Yeah, and that would be a real big shame if they do it too high and price people out. But time will only tell. I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Just going back onto the Essex Archers, I guess you get into baseball to begin with. How has sort of the setup changed over the 5 years, or how has training changed, that kind of thing?
I've been with the Archers for this is my second season now with the Archers, and we train on a Wednesday night. We try to train on a Wednesday night, depending on people's work commitments and stuff like that. Getting out of London, getting to Waltham Abbey isn't always easy for everyone at 6 o'clock or 6:30 or something like that.
No,
So,
yeah,
definitely not.
If we've got the numbers, we do it. But if not, that's why we try and meet as early as we can on a Sunday to make up for the fact that we've not trained on the Wednesday. But training's gone well. I think we've got there more regularly this year than we did last year, and that's shown in our performances. When we look at, we talk before the games and after the games, we talk about error counts and doing the basics right.
Yeah.
And we're starting to set ourselves some, standards which wouldn't be out of place playing a double or possibly, triple when it comes to fielding. Pitching's always the biggest difference anyway.
Yeah.
But, as I say, you can have the best pitcher in the world, if they get a hit off and you don't field it properly, you're giving up 8 base hits and, all sorts, but just getting that practice in. And, we've responded quite well to last year's disappointments. Guildford beat us in the playoffs, but we probably counted in the first 2 innings, 7 or 8 errors on run. We gave runs away. We ended up losing 16-15.
Jesus.
And we were down, I think, 9-2 or something like that. So we battled and got ourselves back to it. But errors at the end of the day cost us, and it could have been a different story if we hadn't done that. They brought in a great pitcher to close the game off and shut the door on us on the 9th. And I think that's stuck with me. I don't want us to be in that position again. And a few of the guys who are still with me from last year in the same boat. And thankfully, we've got a few of these new rookies who are coming in, are all competitive as well. One's played football a lot, one's used to be a squash player, and another one's just generally very competitive by nature. So everyone wants to keep improving, which is great. It makes life a lot easier when you're trying to give advice to someone when they want to receive it, instead of just sort of chinning you off.
And because you've been in that position as well, you've been in that sort of nearly position. That gives you a great platform to build on for this season if you were to go there again.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So, but as I say, we've still got 6 games left to go. Things can still go wrong. All we need is some injuries or people not to turn up or anything like that. At a standard. And as I say, yes, we're undefeated. It's great, but we've had some shaky times. It hasn't been all our own way. We've had to grind some results out. I think every single team have given us a hard time at some point, and it's just that we've managed on those occasions to get get on top of it. On another day, it could go. So certainly can't get complacent on these things either, I'll tell you, because I think it's only top goes through. So we've got Tunbridge, who are second below us, and they've only lost once. That's what they are once to us, but we've still got to play them again. You know, if they beat us, and then,
absolutely.
You know, all of a sudden a good season.
You'll be looking over your shoulders a little bit.
Yeah, with no time to get it back.
No.
So yeah, but our boys and girls are aware of it, and but most importantly, we want to go out there and have some fun, and
Absolutely.
that's what we're doing, which is the biggest thing for us.
Definitely.
Cool. So, I'm kind of the women's sport guru on this kind of podcast, if I say so myself. Yeah. How easy is it? Because we alluded to it last week. How is it easy for women to get into baseball?
Really easy. Most single A teams have females within the team. We've got a female in our team, and she runs out there. Although she's not running at the moment, she turned her ankle on her honeymoon, so she hasn't been playing. But she's in our social media, so she's been doing we've been live streaming some of our games on our Facebook group.
Oh,
so
cool,
it's
really?
great for some people who don't decide to turn up, but I can still watch the game. I don't get that. Just turn up and play instead. So she's doing that, but she plays. We get I think there's a female in most teams that we've played this year, so really easy. I don't know of one adult baseball team who would say no to a female coming on and play, so get involved. I've seen some really good players.
Yeah.
You know, some better than the blokes. So it's absolutely more than welcome.
That's good.
How does, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, how does the sort of financial side of sort of your team play? Because is it sort of you supply your own equipment, or is there some kind of sponsorship involved?
Yeah, I mean, so you got some registration fees as well to the league that we're with, and it's a bit like football where you pay your subs each week and stuff like that. It's a similar sort of thing, really. You pay your subs, and we do registration at the start of the year instead, though, so it's sort of up front, so you don't have to pay it weekly. Obviously, for rookies who are coming in, we might come to an arrangement of paying it depending on the amount of innings they play or how often they turn up. Don't want to scare them off straight away. Want them to come back. But it's equipment. We've got some spare equipment. Personally from our club, we have some spare like jerseys, and but some people come out and just wear black t-shirts because it's our colour sort of thing. Or, but you'll find some will start just to buy their own white trousers off of the internet, which are only a 10 or 15 quid or something like that.
Yeah.
But we have some spares floating around in our lockup. Kit bags, so people get to use those, and quick enough, people want to feel a part of it and go and get their own stuff. Anyway, so there's sort of that natural sort of progression of people buying their own gear, which is really easily available as well, actually, from a good couple of shops online. English-based shops as well, so it doesn't take too long to get it. Like bats, helmets. I know we provide helmets. We've got club bats. We've got bats which anyone can use from our own personal store, and I'm sure most clubs are the same like that. So it doesn't cost a fortune at all to get into it.
Awesome,
brilliant. We on a previous podcast we gave our predictions for the World Series this year. In your opinion, who do you think has the best shot of winning this year in the MLB?
I don't know, actually. I haven't kept up to date as much as I probably should be at the moment. Because, to be honest with you, I had all the hopes for the Angels, and then it's just unravelling very, very quickly.
So
Angels' star was unbelievable, but, I think it's going to be... I think Houston will be there or thereabouts again. I think their rotation is just ridiculous, isn't it? Let's face it. But I want to pin on the Yankees. I think they've just got so much power. Their rotation, they've got that room to add as well before the deadline.
So you're an Angels fan then, I take it?
Yes.
What do you think of your two best players being currently injured?
It's typical. It's typical. I don't know what it is with our pitching staff at the moment. I mean, we all know about Ohtani's lip sprain before he came over anyway. That obviously got leaked out.
Yeah.
But it went from a sprain to then, okay, the guy's got a blister on his finger. All right, give him a couple of weeks, he goes again with a blister. All of a sudden, he's having these injections, and I don't know what the countdown is now for that 3-week diagnosis, but he wants to have a little bet that it's Tommy John coming his way to a target near you. You know, it's 100% going to happen. I mean, the amount of Angels pitches have had Tommy John over the last 4 or 5 years is, I think it's all of them near enough. Yeah, so which is really gutting, really, because he was doing great. He really was. We may not have taken us, we've got 9.5 games back now, all of a sudden. And it's going to be difficult to make that back, I think.
That's something we discussed, I think, on the last podcast. What would it be like if, the Angels' best 2 players were somehow to just be put on the DL for whatever reason, and lo and behold, here we are talking about it.
So if you want to blame someone, you can definitely blame us.
Blame us. It's a funny old game.
Yeah. So has Trout actually gone to DL? So I thought he was still going to DH.
Yeah, I think that's the last thing I saw. So it kind of set alarm bells off for me. But I mean, it is just typical, like you say, that all the players that could possibly potentially pick up an injury, and it's your best player.
Yeah, there you go. But even from DA Sport, I think he walked 3 times last night anyway. He's having a ridiculous season, isn't he, Trout, this year?
Yeah.
It's kind of gone from strength to strength as well. Like we sort of cover him on every episode, and it's just his sort of progression from sort of where he started to now. I think he's just played 1,000 games or just over 1,000 games. Like his stats are just phenomenal.
Yeah, they're mind blowing.
Like absolutely frightening.
Yeah, no, I think I've read something about that as well. If you look at his WAR or something like that, I think he's already leading the Angels franchise history already.
It's ridiculous.
Taking over Chuck Finley sort of thing, you had it. So, I mean, the guy's phenomenal.
He is.
It's really phenomenal. So now, but back to your question, I'd say the Yankees, probably.
Yankees. I think it is a safe bet, isn't it? I mean, you can never ever count that team out.
Yeah.
Or the Miami Marlins.
They can certainly back them for something, but I'm not sure if it's for the World Series.
Listen, thanks so
Thank
much
you very much
for giving us your time for the interview.
Thanks for having us, guys. You're doing a great job.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
man. Just quick, do you want to plug anything? Any socials? Any sort of Twitter, Facebook things?
Essex Archers, give us a follow. But no, a shout out to some of those teams, especially the pool that we're getting the pleasure to play at the moment. The guys down at Pipes and Jets, Gerald, Robin Bangery, those guys, fantastic setup down there. They've got, I think their average age is probably 15, 16-year-olds playing in that team.
Wow.
And I'll tell you what, some of them are going, I think, for some GB training or trials at their age level, and there's a couple of them, who made me look silly at the weekend, I tell you. But what they're doing down there is brilliant. Guildford Meadows as well, from when we played them last year.
Yeah.
Anyone in single A, really, is a massive shout out to all those guys, because, it's a really friendly league, and it's been great to play and be a part of over the last couple of years. So, but now just get people out there, get involved.
Awesome.
Brilliant. So,
Brilliant stuff.
That's it, guys.
Yeah, listen, best of luck for you in Essex Archers
all
for
the
the
best
rest of the season.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Dave.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Bye.
Mate.
Fantastic.
Awesome
Fantastic
stuff.
to hear
Awesome stuff.
a first-hand sort of account of baseball in the UK.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, because we, as in like UK baseball, very little to go on in terms of sort of how it's developed, and
Yes.
Yeah,
and I guess you
definitely.
had to be either playing it to have that first-hand sort of
Of course.
Yeah.
view of how it's sort of progressed. So we just see what it is now and think, there are quite a few teams out there. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
How did it all
probably
go?
more popular than what we think. Just
Yeah,
based
for
on
me.
what
For me,
Dave just said there.
Good stuff.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
I don't know about you, I'm getting a bit peckish.
I'm going to
Yes.
too.
Do you want to describe the taste
What's
test?
on the menu tonight, then, boys?
Yeah. We do have some popcorn. There was a few kind of things that we might have tried, but for one reason or another, I was just not good enough. So we've got Happy Shopper. Can you hear the rustle?
Yeah, shout out, Happy Shopper.
Because David doesn't like you rustling near the microphone.
I hate it. It's a nightmare to edit. Did it make you happy shopping for this?
It made me extremely happy.
So a happy shop.
Because I saw the Butterkist, which we've got as well, the sweet and salted popcorn.
The big
I was
daddy.
like, salt and a sweet snack. But then as soon as I saw the sweet popcorn and the toffee popcorn that Happy Shop provided us with, well, I've gone out and supplied us with.
You came in.
Yeah.
You came bursting to my penthouse suite.
Yes.
With
after climbing 6 flights of stairs.
Yeah, you need to fix your elevator.
I told receptionist Joanna.
Yeah.
No response. It's like she's not even
there.
So yeah, you came bounding in with the biggest grin on your face.
Very gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy.
So you can get 2
involved.
packets of them for £1 or 59 pence each.
Awesome stuff.
So yeah, so that 18p saving is made me very happy.
I'll just take the 1 pack.
Yeah. I have done that before, and it really wound one of my friends up at a service station. I just wanted 1 packet of crisps, and they were in a special offer because they're the grab bags, and it was like if I bought both, I'd eat them both then. So it was like I'm just going to buy one, and he was furious. He was like, "What are you doing?"
I'm just buying 1 pack of crisps.
I mean, just built the motto there. Just buy both.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
buy both.
I nearly didn't get back because he was on the verge of leaving me.
Oh dear.
So where should we start?
We have sweet popcorn, sweet and salted, and toffee.
So this is the sweet and
So we'll
salted.
start with
one.
sweet then.
Sweet and salted.
Salted, yeah, because I've had some.
Sweet and salted.
Sweet and salted.
Yeah.
And I guess let's put it to the test. Is it sweet and is it salted?
Yes, it is.
Yes, there is
Yes,
definitely.
it
You get an initial sweet taste, and then there's that
the
hit of
salt
salt.
that comes in afterwards.
So just out of interest, I mean, I don't know how often either of you go to the cinema. What would be your popcorn of choice at the cinema?
It would be to go to Tesco before and sneak it in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if I was to buy popcorn, it would probably be sweet.
Yeah,
But I'm partial to toffee.
I'm really partial to toffee.
I do.
So let's move on to the topic.
The sweetest of all teeth.
Yes.
Let's rate them with no teeth left.
All right, that's good.
All right, that is good.
Yeah, I'm a
That's
very
fantastic.
happy shopper.
That's fantastic.
That's making me happy. It's warming my insides.
So yeah, at the cinema, it depends what film you go and see, depending on how much of a cut that the movie studio charges the cinema to. So if you went to see something like Star Wars, the studio would say, right, we want 100% everything you take in.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's
true.
why all the food in there tastes wonderful, but it's priced so highly
Extortionate.
because that's kind of where they have to make the money.
Because I don't know, I've definitely noticed. My first sort of memory of buying cinema tickets, I think it would have been around 12 or 13, as in like seeing the cash exchange and how much it costs. I think it was around £3 to £4.
Yeah.
And what is it now? Like
To see where it is now, it's
15?
it's
It's
ridiculous.
not far away, is it?
I guess it depends. But then I pay $17.99 a month for all my cinema needs.
And where's that?
That's at the Cineworld.
Mm.
You can get, and Odeon also do a card where you can go and watch as many films.
I think
as you
Showcase do as well, don't they?
I believe
I'm
they
not
do,
sure.
yeah.
That's like too far away to go to a film.
They have nice seats though. They
Do
have
they?
the posh reclining seats.
Oh, obviously the best cinema in Nottingham, as we're there, is the Broadway.
The Broadway.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a great little cinema. Have you ever been?
Yeah.
I haven't, no.
So it's
Yeah.
you
What
kind
else
of
is that?
it's across from Juju's.
Yeah, it's on Broadway.
Yeah, to answer your question.
No, I
Yeah.
haven't been there, actually, no.
So you walk in.
Portsmouth seats in some of the screens.
Mm.
You can take your beer into them.
Yeah, that's the catch.
Oh, wow.
It's like a bar, like a trendy bar when you walk in,
Yeah.
with an
Oh, wow.
added cinema on top.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Crazy
Dropping
payment.
popcorn.
Do you not think, like, with the way it's going price-wise, do you not think cinemas will become a bit like Blockbuster? In the fact that it'll be there's other ways and means of watching films that's not going to the cinema because of how pricey it is.
Yes.
Like Netflix and the Amazon Prime and stuff like that streaming.
Although there's that experience, isn't there?
There is.
Yeah.
But-
Well, we haven't done
No,
the sweet
this
ones.
is the sweet one. So
Yeah,
going off on a tangent.
So no salt,
No salt.
because salt
Just
is
sweet, yeah.
is bad for.
Salt is bad.
But yeah, I mean, how else can you just go in like a full Klingon uniform out in the street and go and watch a film?
Well, sure.
You can't, can you? So,
You can't.
and it's just no fun doing it at home and watching it on Netflix, is it?
It depends. I mean, I think you are right in what you say with the experience.
Yeah.
But I think outside of that, I don't know what I'd pay. I've seen movies at the cinema, but only because I want to see it
Yeah.
straight away.
And I think there are some films that are films that you have to watch at the cinema.
Yeah.
I think the last movie I watched at the cinema that warranted a cinema viewing was Gravity.
Yeah.
With Alessandra.
Yeah.
And that's just it's. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
haven't,
It's sort of it's set in space, and it's 90% sound effects and atmospheric sort of soundscaping.
I think
So the surround sound
yeah.
and sort of the bigger sort of screen helps that.
I think some slow-paced kind of indie films as well, because I guess if you, no disrespect or anything, I'm not dissing indie films because I love them.
Yeah.
But when you're at home, you can think, well, 20 minutes in, I could go and do something else. Whereas if you're there,
You're locked in, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, you guess you could leave still.
Just get up and walk out.
I've only ever done that once, left a film. And I can't even remember what it was, but it was, I guess it was the fact that I knew I could go and watch another film, probably. But yeah, it was just visually stunning. But it was just like, this just isn't going anywhere.
Was it the Lego movie?
No. Do not ever diss the Lego movie. Because that is one of the greatest films of all time, starring Lego figures.
It's awesome.
Yes. Tegan and Sarah, isn't it?
Yeah,
Everything
it sounds
is
right.
awesome. So yeah. So
what's the verdict then? What are we saying?
Toffee. Toffee for me.
the sweet ones.
I still like all three. I've got to say, I've not had one and thought, you know what? No more, please.
No,
true.
Yeah, I'm quite content to dig in.
If I had to choose,
Yeah.
it would be toffee.
Yeah,
I
there
think
just is that
toffee.
danger of that little bit that hasn't exploded and you just got that.
Kernel.
Yeah. Yeah. Kernel crunch.
Going back to what you said though regarding the atmosphere when you're at the cinema, the last film I went to go and see was Dunkirk,
Oh wow!
and that is one of those films where cinema is the place to be. You know, because like you said with Gravity, it's 90% sound effects, and when
Very
you're
little
watching
dialogue.
Dunkirk, you hear every noise, and it's fantastic.
One of the weirdest cinema experiences was probably Team America, but please.
I think I may have been too young when that came out.
I definitely wasn't.
It's a fantastic film. Though.
Yeah. Did you end up watching that recently?
I haven't. No, I really need to.
There was a quite nice spread of age groups at the start of it, and then just
Fizzled out.
gradually people started to leave as they realised that this is not Thunderbirds.
No, it isn't Thunderbirds.
And there's probably 25, 30 people in at the start, and then there must have been about 6 at the end. So that was kind of an odd one.
Yeah. Great movie though.
Yeah,
I could
I've
watch
also
that,
been in
actually.
films where there's only ever been one other person in there.
Yeah, me too. Actually, yeah.
And then halfway through they left for like 20 minutes.
There was the last. I guess the sort of. The first time it happened actually was. Do you remember Signs? With,
Yes.
Is it not Russell Crowe?
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson. No spoilers. So there was me and 3 friends. I think we were only about 14, 15. And we were sat near the back, and there was a young couple, sat near the front, obviously anticipating a quiet date at the movies. Wildly misjudged the content of the movie. But they stuck for it, they stuck it. And the first half of that movie is very, very boring as a 15-year-old. So we're throwing food at each other, chucking popcorn, throwing food at this couple, and then fetching the food and throwing it again.
I've never done that because I'm a good boy.
Until the point, there's a certain point in the movie where a certain creature passes the camera as like a jump scare, and 15-year-old David, he is not a fan of that.
It was a thing.
Leapt out of his seat. That's the only time.
It was
It's
a
been an
tall
empty
15-year-old Peter.
I think if cinema ticket prices miraculously went down to like a £5, I'd be more inclined to go see movies.
That's actually how I remember.
Meerkat
Cinema
Wednesdays.
Me
They
and
still
a couple
do
of
that?
friends.
Well, Meerkat movies, yeah.
Well, Orange Wednesdays, they stopped doing that, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a thing anymore.
You know, they were just great for the trailers.
Yeah.
You go and see an Orange Wednesday trailer and then you just leave because you're satisfied.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go home,
Very true.
go home to your wife and tell her all about your day.
Yep.
I do love toffee
I'm
toffee
scoffing
popcorn.
this like a motherfucker.
Fantastic. So,
Let's have a minute.
brief baseball news.
Keep going.
Brief baseball news.
Yeah, go for it.
Well, we're here to talk about baseball.
Sorry to go back into it, David, but
No problem.
Madison Bumgarner last night had an absolute game.
Why would you bring that up, Thomas?
And why would I? He got his first win of the season last night.
Who was he playing against?
He was it against the Diamondbacks? No. Oh, it was the Padres.
It
That's
doesn't.
the Padres.
Whoever it was.
Whoever it was, he had a fantastic game.
Mm.
Yeah, 8 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts. I think 3 hits, I believe.
He did. Yeah, he had a very, very good
And
game.
a very, very good game. And hit an RBI as well. So,
It was actually funny. I didn't watch the game. So the first I
Call
heard of
yourself
it
a fan.
was it's late at night. I'm a working man
On a school night.
on a school night, and Tom, you text me in the morning saying Mad Bum's on fire, and I thought Mad Bum plays for the Giants. Giants will play the Padres. This cannot end well.
it did not end well. And like you were saying earlier, you heard all these tweets and mentions about a pitcher playing fantastic.
Yeah, and I thought great.
But
Yeah.
no name of said pitcher until you found out the pitcher's name, and then you realised the score was 3-0.
It's the most disappointing thing is with the Padres. One of the most disappointing things, because there's many things. We had such good form in sort of April and May. A couple of winning streaks, a couple of 3 wins in a row. I think it's 5 or 6 series wins in a row.
Yep.
And then we've pretty much since June
Jumped off a cliff.
wildly the biggest cliff in the world. We lost the last 5 in a row, and I don't see that slump ending anytime soon. I've seen a couple of sort of highlights of the games we've lost. We're not playing well at all. The Giants could have had a sack full last night, and I just 8.5 games back in what I would say is the closest.
I was about to say, it's still a
Division.
very, very tight division.
Yeah, so I was more optimistic when we were sort of 4 back and still last. But we're obviously still last 8 back, and it's looking ominous, I'd say, at this stage. But I don't know, we'll see.
There's still a lot of games to go.
If we can not finish bottom,
That would be an
that'll
achievement.
be a small victory for me. How are the Red Sox doing, Jamie?
They were meh.
And I guess follow-up question: why do they suck so much?
because what's the fun in winning every single time? There's just no fun in it, isn't there?
No, you're doing very well though.
Yeah.
David. It's sort of a push me pull. You kind of whereas Red Sox will be ahead, and
It's
the Yankees will be ahead, and the Red Sox are ahead.
Chuckle Brothers.
Yeah, to me,
To you.
a crossover bigger than the Avengers.
To the Alan Partridge. Did you know that a couple of years ago there was a bar in Norwich called the Owl Sanctuary?
Is it still there?
I don't think it is.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
That seems to come out of Norwich since Wesley Houlihan
Yes. Who's no longer coming out? Oh, we've
actually
also,
came out of Norwich.
yeah. He's no longer one of us.
No.
In spirit, he is. And then we've sold Madison this week as well.
Bumgarner
Yeah.
to the San Francisco
To-
Giants.
Jams.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's been okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're still there, aren't you? 2 games back.
Yeah.
That division,
6-4 in the last 10.
and
Got 6 consecutive games at home, I think, with the email that I got then read is correct and that I read it correctly. So that could go a long way to to just pushing us up.
Well, you look at sort of wild card entry.
Yeah.
If by whatever reason you don't make it as champs, I think more or less guaranteed.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
I think it's between you and the Mariners or whoever finishes second in West.
Whatever.
Yeah,
it's between us and Texas Ranger.
it's between you and the Orioles
Yeah.
for most ridiculous
Don't-
mascot.
Don't rule out the Marlins either.
Don't count them out.
No.
We've been told.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Derek Jeter reliably informed us.
He came round, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
And he said, "Look, guys,
The dictaphone was broken, though. We didn't record it. So you'll just have to take our word
it's,
from
it's,
it.
it's a shame we can't prove this bit." Yeah, you came round and you said, "Look, guys, I know you're taking the Michael.
Yeah.
Just don't do that." So
Have a bit of respect.
yeah, out of respect for Derek and Miami Marlins, we're also not counting them out.
We're not.
Did it Aretha Franklin?
You've lost me.
Yeah.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T.
Oh,
I don't think it was her, though, was it? Somebody else.
it was another person.
Yeah, it was somebody of that genre of music.
Listeners, who sang that
Who
song?
sang R-E-S-P-E-C-T? Find out what it means to me.
Or was it Weezer? They did a cover version, just a little respect.
Wheatus.
That was Erasure. That was Erasure. Did the
Yeah,
original.
Wheatus covered Erasure.
Yeah.
With Erasure.
As you do.
Yeah. Have you seen? Go on to Weezer. I thought this is what you mentioned. They covered "Africa" by Toto.
Have they? Nice.
And it's their best-selling single for if
20
not ever.
years.
Yeah, honestly, it's because I think they debuted it on I want to say the Colbert Show. After I think it was like a fan sort of not project, like mission, just to get them to cover this song. So I think they tease it in like sound checks and gigs and stuff. So they've released it as a single on the back of,
Brilliant.
and it's gone huge. It's their one of their best selling songs.
Fantastic.
Good for them.
Yeah, there's a Australian.
The Bee Gees,
No,
AC/DC.
there's an Australian radio station. I
Way out.
think it's called Triple J or something like that, where they get guests on to do
Covers.
to do covers.
A bit like what's the Radio 1 equivalent? Is it Maida Vale?
Live Lounge.
Oh, Live Lounge, yeah.
Yeah, Made of Vale.
Yeah, Live Lounge, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Always throw some left field choices out, doesn't it?
because of that, I've discovered some decent
You've
bands.
gone in, have you?
Yeah. I mean, Haim did some good work on there.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Good.
Got to rely on the Aussies for something, haven't you?
Shall we stay in New York and talk about a team that we haphazardly missed off our little shout out last week? The New York Mets.
Yeah.
Ah.
So shout out to those guys.
Yeah. Especially the UK-based ones.
Yeah,
Because
the UK Mets. They quite rightly called us out for our shit.
they also support the best baseball team in New York.
Go on.
Well, I'm not allowed to like the other team in New York, am I?
Well, that's only between you and your conscience, really. You can.
No, I'm contractually
If
obliged
you want
not
to, if you want to sit here in an Ipswich shirt, then
Well,
That's
that ain't
your
gonna happen,
prerogative.
is it? Yeah.
yeah.
The day that happens is when you'll be sat there in a Sunderland shirt.
I'm no Judy, and I will not judge, my friend.
I'm going to do a mock-up of you in a Sunderland shirt.
Oh.
Yeah, to just sit there and like it.
That's the day we end our friendship.
It's tomorrow then, buddy. It was nice knowing you.
Yeah. So the New York Mets, they're not doing that well, are they? Let's
Are
be
they not?
serious. They're fourth, 11 and a half games back behind the Braves.
It's just not going well, is it?
3-game losing streak. It's not going well.
Could you say typical Mets?
I mean, I don't know enough about their history and sort of. I mean, are you alluding to past form or something? I have no idea.
Yeah, I've seen a few people on Twitter. Just it's like the usual for them. They
Oh, really?
go through this sort of thing.
So, do you think they're
What
potentially
sort of-
living in the shadow of the Yankees? Is that one of their sort of?
I think when you're in the same league division as the Marlins and the Nationals, you're going to struggle, aren't you? It's just one of them things.
Well, the Marlins.
Yeah,
Marlins are bossing it, aren't they?
absolutely. I mean, if you flip that league upside down, they are
Yeah.
15 games ahead. Had an absolute ball up there.
And then the Mets aren't that far behind.
No, it looks a lot better for the Mets as well.
Yeah. I mean, is it because they play in different leagues as well, which I've found. I think you might have mentioned this before. That
Yeah.
two cities, a city with two teams,
Playing different leagues.
different leagues. Obviously, that's probably sprang from sort of foundation and
Probably.
some kind of dispute, I guess.
I guess interdivisional play might have come in because of that, but that's as in baseball terms, that's rather recent. So
Because I was looking actually if the LA Angels and the Dodgers, same situation,
and
same
all the-
city, different.
well, there's quite a lot of California teams, isn't there?
Yep, Oakland. Shout out to those guys.
San Francisco.
Yeah, the
San Fran.
the biggest team in in
Yes.
California.
They just dwarf everybody else.
Tower over their opposition. I mean, yeah, the Mets. I hope it improves.
Yeah.
Because
It'd be nice if New York had a decent baseball team.
no comment from me.
Or me.
Yeah, I mean, Yankees fans tell me I suck. I don't care.
I think they will.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Swing and a miss.
Yeah, that's me out. 3 strikes. Shall we talk about your mascot this week?
My mascot,
Have you got one?
Mr. Red, with the baseball head.
Have you made that up just now?
No. I think somebody in the Cincinnati Reds marketing department probably given that task like 3 months before it needed to be submitted.
I think they've done a good job, actually.
And I think they thought, that'll come. Don't have to worry about that too much. And then the deadline comes like 5 minutes before, and it's like, oh. What can we do? Let's have a bloke with a baseball for a head.
Was it Leeds that had that massive overhaul of their logo, where they asked like 1,000 people in a focus
Gav's
group?
gone United.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I believe it was.
I think it was like a 6-month project. They asked thousands of people, and that logo.
None of them that were
new
Leeds
logos.
fans.
Yeah, apparently not. And have they rescinded it? Have they gone back to the
think
old?
so.
Yeah.
They've gone back to, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think they did.
Yeah,
Jesus
you
Christ.
get stories about that, don't you? Like some bloke will go out and get a tattoo of their club's badge, and then 2 weeks later they'll change it. It happened to a Huddersfield fan I can remember, which is quite funny. But,
We know your love for Huddersfield.
yeah,
Biggest fan.
yeah, biggest fan.
Second son.
You and David Wagner are practically
Yeah,
FF.
Inseparable.
exactly.
I've seen you holding hands a couple of times.
Yeah,
No, I haven't said a word.
no, just
It's 2 guys hanging out in Yorkshire. In Yorkshire.
Who are you to judge?
Well, that's
You're
yeah.
no
nasally, in nasally Yorkshire as well. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's me banned from heading in a couple of weeks. I'm already not on the Christmas list of Hampshire, am I? So.
Now, have you talked about this on the show?
I think I have, so we won't bore listeners with it.
No, I think you should bring it up again.
I don't know why I'm blocked from their account, their Twitter account.
Have you kicked up a fuss?
No.
Have you thrown a cat among their pigeons?
I mean, the rival of the best cricket team in the world,
Mm-hmm.
Sussex County Cricket Club. But no, I think I may have made a couple of funny remarks, but nothing too serious.
Slight errors of judgment.
I wouldn't even say that. I just my usual humorous self, and I guess they had a humour malfunction. So, yeah.
Sense of humour failing.
Well, the fact that I didn't know about it for so long.
Well, it's the same as me and a certain ex-footballer.
Yes, Stan the man.
Well, I was going to leave him on there because we all know what happens to Stan after he's had a drink, and that's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he blocked people on
He
Twitter.
blocked him on Twitter.
And beats up women.
Oh.
Or is that when he's sober? I don't know.
Well, This is spiraling already.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bring this up.
Yeah, we have said this before, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Is that a favourite word?
I do apologise.
Yeah, I'm going to edit that word in
You,
several times.
I mean-
might just block this segment out.
Squirtle is a qualified lawyer, and
Yes.
he is absolutely bricking it right now.
He's
waving his hands frantically.
he's doing the hand under the chin, like, no, do not go there.
Cut
Do
it
not
off,
go there.
guys.
Because he's the president of the Stan
Well, I guess
Fan
he's...
Club.
Wow. That makes things very interesting, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, it does.
Well, I didn't get sued for libel.
I was about to say, I mean... And I was about to say, is this being
slander.
recorded? Of course it's been recorded. It's a bloody podcast.
Although the comment that you made last week, that you thought was
We'll go unsaid.
No. So,
Wasn't
a
recorded.
shout out to one of us.
Yeah, shout out to... do we have any shout outs?
I think we shouldn't we?
I've got one.
Go on then.
It's a bit long-winded, so I'll let either of you, if you've got any, I'll do mine last.
No.
Excellent.
We've got popcorn.
Just shout out to the listeners. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All
Mine.
the new recent followers and YouTube subscribers.
Yeah, I tweeted that out, actually. It's a spike in followers on Twitter,
I
which is
think-
awesome, by the way.
When you get
Fantastic.
as quality guests as we do on this podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I guess, well, we should have said this after the interview, but anyone else wants to come on the show,
Yeah.
whether it's a phone interview, whether you want to...
Whether you just have to be Eugenie Big Shot.
Well, yeah. Eugenie, if you've got nothing on, and frankly, after the first round of Wimbledon, you won't.
And of course, she does need the help of one of our sponsors.
Yes, softball workouts. They're there for you, Eugenie.
Yes.
They are there for you.
It will only improve your baseball/softball game, but it won't improve your tennis game.
Do you reckon it would?
Absolutely.
I hope for her sake it does.
Because there's this, I guess there's that science of the swing, which I guess is transferable. And she did prove that one of her, was it backhand that was better than the forehand?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Strange how that happens, isn't it?
So,
Yeah,
so,
shout out to her.
she's already thinking about technique.
Shout out.
So, was that apt softball workout, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
My shout out. So I don't know about you two. I listen to a couple of podcasts on my commute to work, which normally takes around the time an episode takes. So it's very handy. I've got to the point where I've caught up with like all three podcasts, and I thought I've ummed and on about, do I add a fourth into the mix? Mm-hmm. Can I keep up with? Can I live at that kind of speed? And I've tried it out. I've tried a couple of podcasts out. Disappointing ones. Jim Jeffries' podcast. Gave it a go.
Not having it.
It's not for me. And it's a shame because he's one of my favourite
He
comedians.
is funny. Very funny.
And his podcast setup is because he's got a chat show on, I think, CBS.
Yes, I believe so.
And the podcast is the after party, I guess. So it's all the jokes he didn't include.
Oh, okay.
And it's sort of him and his sort of writing team sat in a room. And it just the structure it didn't work. So I gave that up, and I went into Anna Faris's podcast, and just the same story. Like it's her and a couple of people, and it kind of went nowhere. In the first episode, like no, this didn't seem to be a structure, or it's hard to follow. So I gave up with that. So the one I've stuck with is called Lizard.
She said the same about us, but
Excellent. You cut in for that, did you? This is called Lizard People, Comedy and Conspiracies. It's hosted by a woman called Caitlin Hempstead. So you know that thing where certain people just have a voice, an interesting voice, like David Attenborough, or Brian Blessed,
Morgan Freeman,
or Skeletor. You know, that voice that you could just listen to.
David Ring.
Well, I've gone all shy.
That's what the mum says anyway.
So she has one of these voices where
Your mum.
Caitlin Hempstead,
Don't forget
the
that.
host of this podcast, just you can listen to all day.
Yeah.
And so the gist of it is, she invites a guest onto the show, and they spend like an hour pitching a conspiracy theory that they believe is true,
No.
and sort of their take on why it's true. And then she'll chat to them, but mostly it's them talking.
Like aliens have taken out all the other rivals of Mansfield Baseball Podcast.
That could potentially be coming up.
Yeah, that could be true.
So like the first couple I've sort of listened to was the moon landing faked? Did Elvis fake his own death? That kind of thing.
I saw him in Chesterfield the other
He runs a chippy, I believe, with the chap from Manic Street Preachers, Richie Edwards. So yeah, and then what she'll do at the end of it, she'll give a verdict of how much she wants to believe and how much she actually believes, and it's really good. I think with her voice is she sounds like one of my friends.
Yeah.
My friend Laura from Chicago. It's like very similar voice. So I think that's the main catch for me. I think it's like listening to your friend.
Yeah.
So shout out to that podcast. It's kept me company.
I'll give
So
it a listen.
have they got? Is the next one that they're going to be? Are the Marlins going to win this year's World Series?
All I'm going to say, Jamie, don't count them out.
Let's count it out. Derek Jeter has information.
Can you imagine Derek Jeter podcast?
That'd be something.
Just Derek Jeter's facing the wall, screaming his bloody lungs out.
Absolutely.
That's all I've got really.
Yeah. Could I just say to Pirates fans, Chad Cool is cool. Okay? He has one bad game and you start slating him. He is cool.
So what's happened here then?
Yeah, he had a bad game yesterday. He gave up some runs, as you do when you're not on it.
Yeah, when you're not playing ball.
And he's had a steady season. This is like his second full season in MLB, and it's like, yeah, one bad game. It's like, what's this guy doing? It's like, give him a break. That's what I'm saying.
He's there. He's saying, "Look, guys, can we just chill out?"
Yes, just chill out. Calm down. Sort it out. So I guess with my Norwich kind of connections, I'll give a shout out to the Norwich baseball team. Norwich Ball on Twitter.
Okay.
So it looks like they follow after the football team. They lost 25 to the Hearts Hawks.
The Hearts Hawks.
20-5.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they've got 5 wins and 4 losses. So
Okay.
They're the kind of team that they either lose heavily or win.
but to be fair, that's the best
Like
text I've seen of this. But yeah, so I should be following them.
Yeah, keep an eye on that.
with our British baseball connections.
Keep an eye on that.
And also being a fan of a bat and ball team in Sussex, then the Brighton Jets, which we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to be down Brighton Way in August, so I could always see if we could arrange to speak to some of them.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I've not actually been to Brighton in my life.
No.
Heard it's nice.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it's
bad.
all right.
It's overrated.
Sick of hearing about it, actually.
Yeah. To be fair, it's Hove that's the better one.
Is it?
Yeah.
So what's the sitch there? That is like 2 towns or something.
The 2 towns, 1 city.
Excellent. So it's two halves of the city, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Brighton and Hove City, as opposed to the Albion, which used to be situated in Hove many moons ago. And the last time I checked was at Co-op.
Does Hove have the nicer shops?
And the houses. Is where Mr. Norman Cook lives with people.
With people.
A shout out to Fatboy Slim.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Top boy.
Yeah. It's just the classier kind of more.
Does it have a
upmarket.
Waitrose?
I don't know. It has
Probably.
Does it have a Weatherspoons?
Yes.
Well,
It's next to the big Tesco superstore there.
big Tesco.
The big Tesco.
How big are we talking here? Like a small village?
Yeah. I guess it's similar to the one in town.
Oh yeah, our Tesco.
Our Tesco. The one that I worked for many moons.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Did they ask you back? Because Tesco is struggling these days. I've heard financially.
after I left.
And I can't help but think that, yeah,
You were the cause of that.
Bloody colonels.
he's more of a sergeant man.
Well, right in that gap and tooth I've got as well, which is nice. Yeah, obviously Iceland rock as well, because you can buy Fraser and Greggs in there.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the Greggs.
Shout out to Iceland.
Yeah, definitely.
Greggs, the greatest thing to ever come out of Newcastle, ever.
Bit of a sore subject with
This man.
you know. Yeah, he pushes the wrong buttons.
He does
at
push
times.
the buttons. Some would say on purpose.
Really?
Antagonised.
It's almost as if you want a reaction.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you
I'm
one.
going to give you the satisfaction.
Off air, I'm going to beat the absolute hell out of you.
Wow.
We'll throw you down the 6 flights of stairs you went. You used to go up here.
Yes, I was just straight out the window.
There are many windows.
Yes.
And you, if you're lucky, you could fall and land in Papa John's. No one wants that, do they?
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that. So Chad Cole.
He's cool.
He's
a
cool.
blip.
Yes.
A blip
Slight
this
blip.
season.
Yeah, just calm down, people.
Just everyone, just chill out.
Yeah. Be cool.
I was waiting for it. Do you reckon he's like?
Keep calm, be cool.
Have you seen Arrested Development?
No.
So there's a gag in it where Ben Stiller plays a magician called Tony Wonder,
Yes.
and his trick is he'll hide and he'll appear to a puff of smoke only when someone says the word wonder.
Oh
So
my God.
do you think that with the Chad Cole section we can only move on once you've said the word cool?
Yeah. Be cool.
Yeah.
That phrase.
Do you reckon that'd catch on?
No.
Okay. So we switch to you then. What's your little segment?
Well, it's something I've been listening to for quite a while. I'm sort of a wrestling fan. I know
Okay.
we're going off the subject a little bit now, but I'm
So the
sort of
England game was quite good for you.
yes. Oh yeah, there are a few spears in that match. Yeah. So there's a podcast by a guy called Jason Solomon, and it's called Solomonster Sounds Off. And he basically reviews all the week in wrestling. They have 2 or 3 shows a week. They have Raw, they have SmackDown, and a couple other shows, NXT and stuff like that. He basically reviews them, goes across funny subjects throughout the world of wrestling. It goes on for like an hour and a half. He does reviews of main events and stuff like that. Very informative, and with me being a wrestling fan, it's something that I like to listen to, and yeah, he's very, very good. Like you said, like you said, he's got one of them voices you can just listen to, and it's fantastic.
So is this on Spotify or
It's on
iTunes?
I believe it is on iTunes. It's on, what was it called? I can't remember what it's on, to be honest.
SoundCloud?
Maybe, but if he does tweet out the link, and I just click the link and not looking what it goes on to be honest. I just listen to it. But yeah, he is at Solomonster on Twitter. He does. If you are a wrestling fan for whatever reason, then go check him out. He's fantastic. Very, very good.
Awesome.
Very, very good. And also sad to hear of the passing of Vader this week, wrestler from the 90s. Big Van Vader passed away age 63 this week, which was sad to hear.
Yeah, very sad.
Sad to hear.
Yeah. Although if you just ended that sentence with Vader, I could have been sat here for hours.
Vader, yeah,
trying to
sorry.
figure it out.
If you're not into wrestling, you probably wouldn't know who he is. But yeah, he was 63. I mean,
Jesus.
very, very young. Wrestlers don't tend to have a very long life. You know, with all the steroids that some of them allegedly take.
I guess
It's
the nature of what they do.
The nature of the sport as well. It's got a very sort of not long lifespan.
Yeah.
No.
And you see a lot of.
That's why Squirtle got out of the business.
He did.
Yeah, he became a lawyer.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great listen. It's something I listen to
definitely.
on a regular basis. It's
Always up for
it
his
is.
podcast.
It is. It's very, very good. Very good.
I think I'm very tempted to make this an actual segment and just, if we find time, look at podcasts we've checked out, if they're good, if they're bad.
definitely.
Can I mention a band that I like?
Of course you can.
Right.
The Beatles.
Oh, nobody's heard of them. But there's a better band. The best.
Better than the Beatles?
Yes.
The VW Beatles.
I've just gone off course now.
How does it feel to be constantly interrupted?
Help. I need somebody.
I thought that was a band name then.
Shadowlark. A young up-and-coming band have just signed a deal with Warner Chappell.
Excellent.
Young band from Leeds. They're making headway. They were at Glastonbury last year, I think, on the introductory stage kind of thing.
What do they sound like?
They sound like good music.
Good music.
You did suggest some other artists that they sounded like, but I can't remember.
No, neither can I.
So they sound like an original band.
Yeah?
They've got a single out at the moment called Hunger, so check that out. Just go and check them out. And if they're somewhere near you, then I'd suggest you go and watch them, because they're pretty awesome. I mean, when I saw them, they were the support act for somebody.
They were supporting someone.
Yeah, and that was an exceptional gig. And they were.
He's welling up just talking about it.
Yes.
Or checking on some popcorn. One of the two.
The latter, I believe.
I did actually read the back of the popcorn bag. Choking hazard up to 36 months.
Yes.
And I mean, you can probably pass as a young chap, but
Yeah.
3 years old.
Or does that mean you have a choking hazard up to 36 months after having popcorn?
It's like the
36
penguins
months
with
after.
the
it reduces your life expectancy to
Well, I guess if
36
you're a
months.
penguin, and you know when you kind of choke up the food for the krill for
Regurgitating their own food.
yeah, then I guess that could be a choking hazard for penguins because they do like their popcorn.
They do.
Well, yeah, they do. I mean, I'm not going to argue with you.
No, soon as I'm an expert.
Expert, you brought popcorn in, and it's
I mean, who came up with the idea for this podcast?
You did.
I did, and don't ever forget that.
Shall
So
we?
yeah, this is the last ever episode of the Bullpen.
Well, actually, we've yet to talk about Hayley Dawson.
Does that make you really a star? Yeah, sorry. The best bit, the only bit anybody listens to.
Hayley Dawson, the absolute hero with the prosthetic hand. She really has been busy this last sort of fortnight.
She's been trouting about.
She has been trouting about, and because I've got her itinerary saved, so I can sort of keep up with her and see where she's going to be. And this was literally sort of bang, 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 bang in a week or so. So number 12 started on the 11th of June. That was at Milwaukee Brewers Miller Park. So I'm assuming Miller, the beer. Makes sense, doesn't it? We'll agree to disagree.
The day after that.
Day after that, at the Chicago White Sox Guaranteed Rate Field, which reeks of big business sponsorship, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
What, in a baseball ground? You sure?
You're having a laugh.
Sure.
Day after that was number 14 at the St. Louis Cardinals Busch Stadium 3. The best of the lot, would you say? Best of the trilogy? Or do you prefer the second one?
I'd say the Cardinals.
And the number 15 was a couple of days ago on the 19th. That was at the Minnesota Twins Target Field.
So she's halfway there.
Halfway there in June.
Living on a prayer.
And I actually sat and thought about this, because obviously she'd probably have school, I guess. I don't entirely know when the sort of the semesters run over there.
The calendar.
So maybe the reason there's so many in quick succession, she's had like a week off or something.
Yeah.
And I think again, United was sort of her airline of choice.
Yeah.
And sort of carted around. What do you think? Milwaukee to Chicago to St. Louis. Chicago to St. Louis quite close together. And I guess Minnesota's a couple of miles south, isn't it? I say a couple. You look at the map of the USA, it's more like a couple of hundred miles.
Yeah, you'd say so.
How many times does Wales fit?
Thousands.
And that's just Delaware.
Yeah, in Bear, Delaware.
So
Yeah,
she's doing
that's-
well. She's doing fantastic.
Yeah, halfway
well.
there, bless her. I don't actually know if there's any sort of system to how she's doing. I don't know if she's doing national first and
I don't
American.
know.
I don't actually. Should probably look back
Check the itinerary.
before making an absolute fool of myself.
Yeah.
Too late.
Ah, well, it's my podcast, and I'll be an idiot if I want to be. Yeah, that's Hayley. Yeah,
Last but not least, shall we discuss Moustache Gate?
oh,
Mustache
Gate. Okay,
but not last thing, because I got one more thing.
Okay, so
Okay.
penultimate.
so is your thing as good as this one then?
Ovs.
Do continue then.
So Ichiro Suzuki was spotted wearing a fake moustache in the dugout the other day with his hood up. It's fantastic.
This is ridiculous.
I'm sure we'll tweet the picture out
Like
on our feed.
This
It's
man-
fantastic.
because I said to you off air, I saw the picture before I knew the story, and I thought, okay, this is funny. This is funny. Without context, it's hilarious. With context, it's even funnier.
It is.
This man, ejected, thought, you know what? I've got this moustache lying around that I've never used. If I put my hood up, no one will know.
No one.
You know what happened? Everyone knew.
It's like if you
all
put
over the
glasses
internet.
on. If you put glasses on Superman, though.
Is that just because Lois Lane is just the blindest? Maybe she needs the glasses.
She's don't forget she's an award-winning journalist.
Yeah.
She
I mean, can't tell a co-worker apart from the only superhero in that world. It's bizarre.
Yes.
It's bizarre. Although, actually,
How bizarre.
How bizarre. Great song. It's also really terrible. I've looked at this actually. I think this is more sort of Christopher Reeve's depiction of Superman. When he's in character as Clark. I don't know if this is canon as in the comics. Clark Kent has a slight stoop. So obviously it's
I'm a
Clark
bit of a
Kent.
stutter.
I think so, yeah. I think that's right, yeah. And so obviously he'll take that on when he's Clark. And as Superman, he straightens his back, he takes those bloody glasses off,
And it becomes Mike Trout.
and he becomes Mike Trout, and he passes 1,000 games for the Angels. It's a remarkable crossover. So Ichiro, master of spying, I guess. Or being a spy.
Yep.
I found a Consequence of Sound article. That has been-
Shout out to those guys. I actually follow them on my vanilla Twitter account.
Nice.
Great account to follow.
Which is the top 10 baseball films of all time.
I've not seen this actually, so I'll be Helen Keller here and not have a clue.
Okay,
What's going
so
on?
we start with a baseball film that stars James Earl Jones in 10th.
Lion King.
I mean, everybody thinks James Earl Jones, he was in that baseball film. But this is a different baseball film. This is the Bingo Long Travelling All-Stars and Motor Kings of 1976. It's also got Richard Pryor in, so
Excellent stuff. Yeah,
I'd imagine that'd be quite a hoot.
yeah, quite a laugh. Would you say? So what was that? Number 10.
That's 10.
Okay.
And then we go into number 9, which is, drumroll,
No.
The Bad News Bears with Walter Matthau. 1976.
Great actor.
Yeah.
One of my favourite actors, actually.
So that was on Sky Movies the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Verdict?
Haven't seen.
Wow.
I don't have a subscription to Sky Movies.
No, that's true. That's true.
So yeah, if the people at Sky are listening, I do have them now TV if you want to upgrade me.
Well, we actually did inquire about sponsorship, didn't we?
Yeah.
And what better way than a certain sports package
Yes.
giving us complete access
Yeah.
to the movie channels.
Exactly. And in 8 is 61, which is a film about the Yankees, I think. Mickey
Okay.
Mantle and Roger Maris. So we'll skip over that one. Directed by Billy Crystal, apparently. So,
Wow.
So, yeah, that
What,
might
about
be
80s maybe? Was it
yeah,
good?
2001.
That was close.
And obviously, the biggest travesty of the list is at number 7 is A League of Their Own, which we all know is the best.
No,
film of
I put it in 7. I think 7's when you.
I mean, look at the lineup. You got Gina Davis at the top of her powers.
Okay.
Thomas Hanks, never a dull moment.
That's never made a bad movie either.
Yeah.
No.
Until
Until Big.
whoa.
That's got a thing that would never be in a film these days.
A boy playing a piano with his feet.
No. He's like a 12-year-old boy, isn't he? He becomes big.
Is this the ending bit where he's been dating the girl?
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
interlock with each other, shall we say.
He then becomes a boy again.
Yes.
And she stays the same age.
Yeah.
And she has very conflicting
Yes.
sort of...
That would never happen in a film these days.
I will say that's
So
horrendous oversight by
by Hollywood.
by Hollywood. So that's number 7. I'd say
Yeah, I mean, it's
7,
got
7
Rosie
for me.
O'Donnell in as well, so you know.
Here's the thing: you could throw an all-star cast into a movie,
Yeah.
and it might not work.
Yeah. Batman versus Superman.
Yeah,
No, because obviously, what's his name's decent as Batman. He's the Bomber Phantom.
Batfleck.
Yeah.
But I mean, the story and
Yeah.
CGI fight scenes,
So-
dialogue,
so
pretty much everything in that movie is a train wreck.
So you've got your obvious kids against blah 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 type thing. The Sandlot, by the looks of it, they're all kids.
Oh, that might be on Netflix actually.
The Sandlot.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
does ring a bell. That's on Netflix, I believe.
Yeah. So we could do a talk through, couldn't we?
Mm.
That maybe one day.
Yeah, sure. 5.
So apparently,
The suspense is goddamn killing me.
number 5, Moneyball with Bradley Pitt.
Book or movie?
Movie, because it's top 10 film.
No. Let me finish. Which is better?
To say that there's the Moneyball book, that's how far I am through it. I can't really make an informed opinion.
Okay.
So sorry.
You according to this label at the front, you paid $200.
No, I think it was a penny book on Amazon. As you do.
Shout out to Moneyball.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Michael.
I cannot make out the author because there is stickers everywhere. Michael Lewis.
No, Michael Lewis. Yeah. Number 4 is a film from 1942, starring Gary Cooper.
Okay.
So one of the Hollywood greats. Pride of the Yankees.
What, who's that about?
The
The New York Mets.
It's got Babe Ruth in it as well.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So yeah, that might be just worth it just to have a look at what's going off there.
Yeah. Because I don't know, was 42 peak of Ruth's powers?
After, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it's about Lou Gehrig of the famous disease.
Mm.
So I've got a feeling that once upon a time I might have actually seen that film. And in at number 3, Kevin Costner's best baseball film, starring Susan Sarandon and Tim Robbins, Bull Durham, 1988.
Okay. Good year
Yes,
to be born.
well, probably not. And then in number 2, Major League from 1989.
Does that mean number 1
Even better year.
is
1989.
oh, okay.
A film starring Tom Berenger, Charlie Sheen, and the bloke that we know as Old Scratch Johnson, Corbin Bernsen.
Corbin Bernstein, yeah. Does that mean number 1 is the certified, because Consequence of Sound are the be all and end all of baseball movies?
But of other stuff.
Well, no, we've seen the 7th choice was correct, and I think the first choice
Is
if it isn't Field of Dreams,
Rookie.
What a twist!
Yeah, no, it is Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams, yeah.
So how the Rookie hasn't got in the top 10, I will not know. Do not know.
Because he's still in college making his money.
No, it was the Rookie's based on a true story because it's Disney, obviously.
Okay.
And it's about a high school teacher who coaches his school's baseball team,
Hmm.
and he suddenly starts throwing heat,
Oh.
and his kids are like, "Oh, you got to go and try out for the major leagues," and he gets a gig somewhere. So yeah, I've got it on DVD somewhere if I haven't sent it away.
Banished
To
it.
be destroyed. So there's 11 baseball films that people can go out and watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Or if you're in America, they are movies.
The movie pictures.
Yeah, and they're all talkies as well.
Talkies, yeah. Should we call it a day?
Yeah,
I've said everything I want to say.
yeah. Let's call it a day, Carly Ray.
Excellent stuff.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, accidentally.
Oh, I love
That
it.
was on purpose. It was meant to be terrible as well.
It was very good.
Follow us on Twitter at the Bullpen Pod.
Yeah,
At Bullpen Pod.
Not
No,
at the ball.
no, the
because you don't know who those guys are.
those guys.
Those guys.
Imitators.
Yeah.
Individually, I'm at Dringy Pie.
Yeah, you can find me at Famous Strauss if you can be bothered.
Likewise with me at T Boltby.
Gives us a sub on YouTube if you would be so kind. It does make our day. It makes our lives easier.
It does.
It makes our journey through the YouTube
Yes.
corporate dictatorship much easier in the long run.
And every time that you subscribe, David cries tears of joy.
I give you a cookie.
Yes.
How's that for a may or may not be a promise? Depending on how many cookies I've got left.
Yes.
Give us a follow on Twitter and YouTube.
Cookie Monster's going to subscribe tomorrow.
If he does.
Yeah.
You're pretty much done for.
I'm screwed, aren't I?
Because he's going to keep unsubscribing his readers.
Yeah, well, they'll just create different accounts and just subscribe. Just follow.
That's a win-win, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
mind that.
I don't
I don't mind paying a fortune and
Yeah.
cookies to pump our son.
Feed somebody's habit.
Well, you say it like that.
Yeah.
That's thanks for listening. Thanks to Dave Evans again.
Yeah, thank you very
Thanks
much
for
for
being
coming on.
The coolest
Amazing.
of guests.
Any guest is going to have to be on their best to top that.
Yeah, that was. I mean, we went in because that was our first ever interview, wasn't it?
It
It
was,
was,
yeah.
And so we went in with a couple of questions.
Yeah.
And a sort of rough idea of how long this is going to take.
On a wing and a prayer.
And boy,
Very informative,
Did it
very,
fail?
very
Yeah.
knowledgeable.
it surpassed. And yeah, it did teach us a lot about
It
sort
did,
of
yeah.
UK baseball.
And that we ought to up our game as well. But
We should. How dare we run a podcast about baseball?
yeah. And know just a
And-
little bit about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, more British baseball from here.
Yeah. Let us
definitely.
know if you want to be on the show. Drop us a DM or email. What's the email address? The Bullpen UK.
Something like that at gmail.com.
Yeah, drop us a message on there, or a DM, or a tweet
Yeah.
if you want to be on our show.
We'll get back to you.
And if you want to sponsor the show,
Yeah.
we promise to plug the absolute hell out of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like that safe softball workout.
Yeah,
Those guys again.
they've hit 10,000 followers on Twitter,
Yes.
so I would like to
A
think
milestone.
had a little say in that, didn't we?
Yeah.
We might have gave them 6. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
10,000 is
Thanks for checking us out.
Thank you.
Thanks for being there.
Yeah, have a great evening.
Thank you very
And
much.
a great life.
Peace
Till
out.
next time.
Peace. Bye.
See you later.
Bye-bye. Bye.